What's up guys, Chris Allen here. I thought I'd take you through my current weekly shoulder training. I'm doing a full body workout 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'm doing shoulders first in the workout when I'm freshest and have the most energy. So I've got my training journal and I'll walk you through what I did for each shoulder part of the workout last week. But first I want to talk to you a little bit about military pressing. I'd like you to follow along. Take your left arm, stick it over your shoulder here onto your back. Put your right arm here and just imagine you're pressing up a weight. As you do this, you can feel your shoulder blade moving, your traps moving, and other muscles moving. I'm doing this to reinforce the point that simply because it's a shoulder press, it doesn't mean it's only the shoulders, the triceps, and the top of the pecs that are helping out, but the muscles on your back are helping to stabilize everything you're doing. So if someone goes and does a workout, say where they're doing seated military press, then it's going to impact things a little bit differently. Let me show you. I'll lower the camera. Seated military press, whether you're using a barbell or a dumbbell. I'm going to go and use this little thing here just to kind of simulate what's happening, but I'm doing a seated military press. First thing I'm doing is I usually have my butt and back driven back against the chair, the backrest, whatever. So now these muscles that previously we felt moving in the first example are now pressed hard up against my back of the chair. So in other words, all the stabilization, all the little muscles that were helping to make sure I didn't pitch forward too far or backward too far or to the left or to the right are pretty much taken out, and it's just the prime movers, anterior delts, incline pecs, and the triceps that are really kicking in. Now if you switch this around, instead of doing a seated military press, you do a standing military press or seated with no backrest, well, you still can use a little bit of leg drive to help balance you out. So the first exercise I'm doing is called a Z press. Now, as you can see from the B-roll footage, a Z press is done where you just sit down on the ground, stick your legs out in front of you and get either the barbell or the dumbbell up to your shoulders, and then you press up. This means now your abs are having to contract to keep you from falling backwards, whereas your lumbar spine muscles are having to contract to keep you from falling forwards, and various other muscles in your core are keeping you from twisting from side to side. So this means you now have to use less weight because you're not braced either with your legs helping to push the weight up or by leaning your body back against a chair. So now on Mondays, I'm starting out doing the Z press with the barbell. My follow-up exercise on Mondays ends up being a lateral raise. As an aside, if you ever hear someone say the word side laterals or the 2 words side laterals together, that's not a real thing. Side and lateral are synonyms. That's the same thing as saying front, rear, or side. They're lateral raises, but enough of that little rant. As you can see, I'm doing my lateral raises, reversing on the chair, facing it forward with my chin and face basically on the backrest, and at a slight decline back. This causes my body to be shifted slightly forward to help reduce the impact that my anterior delts will help. Also, because I'm seated, I can't really use my legs to help swing the weight up. So I'm doing a couple of sets of these, and that's Monday's workout. So to recap, we started with Z press with the barbell and then went with lateral raises. Now on Wednesdays, again, we are doing the Z press, but we're doing Z press with dumbbells. Here I shot a couple different angles. One from the front where I'm doing the Z press, and the other angles from the side. You'll see from the side, it actually looks like I'm holding the weight a couple inches out in front of my head. So I need to remember to basically push my head through or pull the weight back as I'm pushing them up, because eventually the dumbbells will be so heavy that they'll end up falling forward and I won't be able to control it. Now my second exercise on a Wednesday ends up being an upright row. But I want to show you what I'm doing different here. Now many people, when performing an upright row, and again I'll use this as an example, take the bar up like either to their shoulders, their chin, or maybe even above their head. I don't particularly like doing that. Reason number one, you see how my wrists are bending backwards? As the weight gets heavier, this actually starts to hurt my wrist being bent down with weight pulling it. the first reason that I'm doing my upright rows with dumbbells. Second reason is if you ever go to the doctor and they perform an impingement test on your shoulders, they have you go and get your arms roughly in this position and then they push down on them. Because if this looks familiar, this is near the end point of a traditional upright row. That's why I'm doing the way I'm doing them here with the dumbbells, where I only raise my arms up till parallel, have my wrists being pointing down, and then I'm doing a slight forward lean, so I'm actually involving my traps and my rear delts a little bit more and essentially keeping my front delts out of the movement because they do get hit very well, first with the Z press and second with any chest exercises I do later in the workout. On Fridays, I start out with what are called victory raises. So you can see I'm holding plates or dumbbells in my hand and I raise my arms up and out and I have a band on my wrist in some fashion so that I have resistance both in the upward plane and to the side as well. Not so much a power move, but it does get a really good pump. I'm doing these for sets of 15 to 20, and I'm currently sticking at 3 sets max, just adding the weight. So it's really, the first 2 sets are more of a warm up, and the third set I really get a good burn and a good pump going. After that, I switch to this exercise. I've got the adjustable pulley set up just about the right height, pretty much even with where my hand is on the way down. I step away just a little bit from the cable. And right here, this is the most difficult part of the movement where there's a 90-degree line between my hand and the cable going to the pulley. And as I go up, it actually gets easier here. In fact, you can probably see behind me, I do this and keep extending, nothing is actually happening here. So the beginning, it's the most difficult part. And it gets easier at the top, which actually matches your strength curve, because with a normal dumbbell, this is going to be the toughest part, where you're weakest because gravity would be pulling the dumbbell straight down. But here I get the most tension at the beginning of the movement and eases up on the top. Now I can work around this by then lowering this cable down just about to ground level here. And now I'll do my laterals with my other arm. The greatest tension is going to be right here or about here. So by doing these 2 exercises on the cable station, I change the stress level from being the lowest when I'm going this movement, range of motion, to now here, where it's literally just about the most difficult at the top. That way, I'm training my deltoid through its entire range of motion, and I've actually changed the emphasis on where it's most difficult for me to do. And then finally, I go on to face pulls, which again, works both the rear delts and the side or anterior delts. Now I should probably say a word or two about how I'm using progressive resistance. Traditionally, people look at progressive resistance as either A, adding weight and keeping the reps the same, B, adding repetitions and keeping the weight the same, C, some combination of you add reps and when you reach a certain point, then you add weight, lower the reps, lather, rinse, repeat, or D, you add sets. All of these 4 methods will gradually increase the intensity and the total duration of your workout as well as the amount of weight lifted. Now we each have our own limited amount of recovery. So the question is, how many sets, reps, whatever, is just too much? You're gonna have to figure that out for yourself. Here's my recommendation to you. Keep employing progressive resistance via either adding weight, repetitions, or sets, and to the point where for 2 consecutive workouts, your main lift, let's say your main lift is a bench press and last week you did 225 for 10 and you thought maybe you could have got 11. So this week you do 225 for 10 on your top set and you realize there's no way I'm gonna get rep number 11. And next week you do 225, not even for 10, you do 9 and you can't even get the 10th rep. That's probably a pretty good indicator that your recovery ability has been exceeded by your total workouts that you're doing. And it's probably a good time to back off, do a deload week, basically cut everything in half. Cut your number of sets and reps, your weight in half, and your reps in half for a week, and then work back up to your previous best. All right, that's basically my workouts. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, click the like button, the subscribe button, and put any comments. Helps the algorithm, helps me to keep growing my channel. Thanks, have a great day. And I hope that recorded. I once did this and didn't actually record. That kind of sucked. It was just me talking and no one could hear a single thing I was saying. But we'll see about all that.